Hi everyone, it's Crystal Alexander Hill here, and today I want to share with you the mission of my upcoming Egypt tour in April 2020. Now, my soul is telling me that this is crazy to share. No, not my soul. My mind is telling me that this is a crazy thing to share because this knowledge has been kept behind the closed temple walls for millennia, not millennia, thousands and thousands of years. But it is time, because we are all scattered, all the souls that have been impacted by what happened in the temples in the ancient times is scattered around the world. Social media is the best way of getting the message across and reaching the people that I'm meant to be reaching, that are needing to reconnect to the priestesshood, to the sisterhood, and to the priests. I'm not just speaking to the women, I'm also speaking to the souls and male bodies here. If what I'm sharing does not resonate and you find yourself starting to criticize or rejecting my ideas, I want to invite you to understand that if that criticism is running within you, it is running both directing at you, but also directed at the world. And it keeps us in separation. Criticism, judgment, all of those things, blame, rejection, are all patterns and programs inside of our psyche that are designed to keep us safe, that are designed not to threaten us by bringing in contradictory information to us. And it's also exactly the thing that keeps us in separation, where we have to protect ourselves. In a world where we are accepting what is and celebrating the uniqueness and the multiplicity of opinions and ideas on the planet, when we're coming from a place of compassion and accepting everyone to go and walk their path in their way, then there is nothing to defend. We can let other people be and we can let ourselves be. As that programming of judgment and separation, as that program of judgment is running, we're staying in separation. It's also running against our own mind, because when you point a finger, as you know, there is 3 fingers pointing back at you. As within, so without. As above, so below. Everything is part of the oneness. And that is so very much what I am passionate about, what my mission here is, what my purpose is, to integrate all the fragmented aspects within ourselves, but also to integrate the fragmented aspects on higher dimensions. And that is what this Egypt trip is about. It's to bring together those souls who have a part to play in this. So let me share with you what I have become aware of. Many years and years and years ago, were Lyran wars in the 5th dimension. And when I talk about the 5th dimension, I mean that dimension where the soul is no longer attached to the physical body, which is our 3rd dimension. The soul is no longer attached to emotions, which is the 4th dimension. In the 4th dimension, we are ruled by fears and the attachments that we still hold on tightly to. The 4th dimension is that place that the Christians call hell. The 5th dimension is that place that the Christians call heaven. So the 4th dimension also in my framework is that place where the reptilians and the Dracos live, the great serpent. It's a place, a dimension that is ruled by fear. And those beings were traveling the universes to find places where they could mine, star systems where they could mine, where they could live. There were Normans that were kind of abusing the resources on the planets. And so when they came into this place where the Pleiadians, the Sirians, the Orions, and other Arcturians and other star races lived, they demanded that they gave them their resources. This created a split, not just between the reptilians and the star beings, but also amongst the different star races themselves, because they had never had to deal with that kind of thing. They were just accepting each other and allowing one another to co-live and cohabitate in peace, each of them fulfilling their own journey, their own preferences, and they were just an acceptance of be and let be. That all changed when these Lyran wars were created and the reptilians came on the scene. So ever since then, there has been, the star races have been separated. They've been living on their own little things, and the Galactic Federation is the place where they do come together. But it is time to reunite them on a higher dimension, in a bigger way. And it is also time, because everything in the universe expands, it is also time for the reptilians and the Dracos to let go of their fear-based way of doing things and embrace, I'm not going to say love, because love is not, I'm not going to go into that right now, but to embrace a higher power, a power of acceptance and of not intimidation, but a power that allows others to be, because that is way more powerful. If they are the rulers of a powerful people, the queen, the king, the leaders are way more powerful. And so it is that message that we are currently bringing to that dimension, to the leaders of that dimension. What happened in the temples in the ancient Egyptian times was that there was an attempt for reunification and they were trying to do that in the physical body. So they were trying to create hybrid beings that would bring together the reptilians and the star seeds, because they were doing these genetic manipulations on the priestesses, and the priestesses being the embodiments of star-seeded entities incarnated in the physical body. It was said that their DNA then would create a being that was both reptilian and higher star race beings, but in the physical body. Now, these genetic manipulations, these experiments, didn't go to plan. Somehow we forgot that when you take a massive, big reptilian entity and clone it into a human body, the womb of a woman is not big enough. And so there were a lot of deaths that happened as a result of these experiments, a lot of operations like ripping the embryo out before it would kill the priestess. A lot of trauma was created and a lot of deaths happened as a result, both of the priestesses as well as of these hybridized beings. And so there's a lot of trauma in many women's DNA still, which is coming to the surface again, and it is here to be resolved, because it is the time where we are coming into greater oneness consciousness, greater unity consciousness, and we cannot keep stuck in our bodies any of those traumas from lifetimes ago that are recreating themselves over and over again, because we're trying, our soul is trying to bring it to our attention so we can get rid of the pattern. So what needs to happen is for us to go back to the core origin. And this is what I do in my past life regressions. But here we're doing it, going back physically to those temples where these manipulations were created. And last year, those of us who embraced this knowing went into this particular temple with great intention and great clarity to integrate. And those of the tour who had rejected these ideas were becoming sick. They were feeling like they needed to vomit, because they were rejecting a part of themselves or a part of life that they are a part of. Didn't want to know it, weren't ready to deal with it. And I'm saying this with the greatest respect, because those beings, those beautiful, beautiful souls may actually listen to this video as well. But that is my interpretation of what happened. that those who were ready to face these things, these genetic manipulations, this encounter with the reptilians, were empowered afterwards. Those who rejected anything to do with the reptilians felt that they were evil and this was nothing that they could allow to enter into their bodies. They were sick. So that's just how it was. So I'm calling in those souls who have unresolved business to do with genetic manipulations. You will either resonate already, or you may have had miscarriages in your life like I had. You may have had stillbirths. You may have had the IVF, the inability even to conceive children, or you may have internal scarring for no reason that is explainable in this life, or you may have such a resistance against having children in this life for no explainable reason. So all of those symptoms, all of those things can be signs that there is a connection here and that you have unfinished business. And so what I did this morning, I've realized that, I've been so concerned and preoccupied with my own healing around this, that I forgot all about these new consciousness that had been created as a result of this hybridization, that was really just abandoned and stuck somewhere. So I found them. I went there. I felt like they were in that fear-based, the fourth dimension, and they're still there. So I called the ones that I could help, that were directly connected to me. I honored them and I loved them and I thanked them for volunteering to assist with this mission that clearly didn't quite go to plan. But then anything new that we're creating, we're never the victims. It's if one thing doesn't work, we do something else. If something else doesn't work, we do something else. It's like, it took over 100 attempts to create the light bulb, but there was no giving up. There was just, okay, if that doesn't work, I'm one step closer to it working. I'm eliminating all the ways in which it doesn't work. And so this is where we're at today. We are now feeling and knowing that this unification is obviously not possible in the human body. So it needs to happen on the etheric level. And that's what we are preparing for. But in order to do that, we must also first release any form of attachment, any type of separation that is still holding us, so that we can be in our highest sovereignty, our full purest power to meet and connect and unite. Because how do we get peace between two countries that are at war? The prince from one country meets and marries the princess of the other, and then there is peace. It is that we are looking to recreate, both, well, firstly within ourselves, the inner marriage, and then in the galaxy, in the higher dimensions. So if that resonates, message me. I'm happy to have a chat if Egypt is calling you. And even if that specific mission is not something that is part of that is in alignment with you, where you're feeling, oh no, that's actually not me, but you're feeling a resonance. The main overarching intention, of course, is for our souls to reconnect, for our souls to remember, for us to kind of pick up the ancient knowing that we had when we were living in those lifetimes then, and to bring that into our lives, to make our soul more whole and complete, because the magic that is in those ancient stones carries all of the memory. And so that can activate our cellular memories, so that we can bring that knowing back into our daily lives and make greater transformation, have greater impact in what we're doing. Egypt is a magical land that just amplifies things and is like a jump start to life, to things that need to happen. It can shake us to the core, and it can connect us in ways that we can't even imagine. So that's all I wanted to share today. I'm wishing you a beautiful, beautiful day or night, sending lots of love around the globe, and I'll see you very soon. Bye.